All right, this is J.O.'s Two Structures Homes. I talked to you about the six things you should know when building a house. This isn't everything, it's just kind of six things that come to mind when you're trying to build a house. Number one, there are three kinds of builds if you don't include mobile homes. It's a speculative build where you're going to buy a home that a home builder has. Typically, it would be the least expensive option because the builder's already gone through, made the selections, so you have less time involved, typically less money. That's not always, but typically less money, and it's the quickest. So if you've only got a short period of time and you want to be moving in a month or two, you probably want to be looking at a speculative build. The second kind is a pre-sold. A pre-sold home is when you want to work with a builder and you'll typically use one of their home plans or maybe a catalog plan from a local designer or something you find online. And then what they'll do is they'll work with you on building this house and you'll get more selections. You'll have the opportunity to do most of your selections. And they're going to typically restrain some of those selections. They're not just going to want you to go out there and select anything and everything from multiple different vendors that they don't use and that kind of stuff. So that one's going to be a little more involved as a buyer and a little more time consuming. Usually a little more money because you're making selections that you want in your home. In saying that, we've had customers that have gone through and built completely from our standard selections. So it's possible, but most of the time that people want to do that, they're wanting a specific house plan and specific things in the house, so it does cost a little more money. And then the third type of a build is a custom build. Typically, this is going to be your most expensive and probably your most time consuming. This is one where you're going to be selecting a house from either a plan that you've designed yourself or you work with an architect, something along those lines. So you're going to be going from a ground up build where you make all the decisions, and it's going to be the most time consuming and the most time to do. That'd be your three types of builds. The first type of a construction that you could do is a speculative construction or a spec house. And in that construction, what you're doing is you're buying a house that's either completely finished, like the one we're in today, or you're buying one that's under construction and not quite finished, where you may have some opportunities to change paint colors or change the colors in the house, granite, tile, that sort of thing. But the house is under construction and generally you're not able to change any walls, move anything around or change outdoors or something like that. That stuff's already been selected, and that's why that's usually your least expensive option, is to buy a spec or a speculative home that's already been built and already costed out so they know where it's at. The next type of home that you can construct is a pre-sold home. And for us, Two Structures, what that would be is a house where you're using a plan that we have and maybe moving some walls around or adding square footage, taking square footage away, but it's a house plan that we already have and basically know the cost of. And then you would make that from the ground up. You would be building that from the ground up. Generally, we'd carry the construction loan and we would be making selections with you to get the house of your dreams. Okay, number two of the six things to think about when you're building a new home is room count and size of home. The number of rooms typically dictate how big the house is going to be. So this is kind of thing of a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, or are you wanting a 5-bed, 3-bath with 4-car garage? That's going to have a lot of influence on the cost of the home. So that would be the next thing that you want to consider is how are you going to use the home and what do you want the home to do? Number three is your neighborhood, school district. Whether you want to be close to town, whether you want an HOA association, that's what you would want to think about next. And typically this is going to have a big driver in your cost, because if you want a big lot, you're typically going to be moving further out into the country. The way the lot cost is, and the way to develop land is, it's very expensive to have big lots in town. That's why you typically don't see a big lot close to town. Normally the 2-3 acre lot is going to be out in the country, and then your tight city lots would be closer to town. So that's a big driver on the cost of your house. Number four is your time frame. If you're needing to move in a couple of months, then probably speculative build is going to be your best bet. Either finding a house that's already done or a house that is almost done that will be ready by the time you move in. If you've got plenty of time, then certainly looking at a pre-sold or a custom home would be your best option. Financing options. This would be how you're going to pay for the house. This would be whether you're going to pay cash, whether you're borrowing the money, whether the builder's doing the construction loan, are you doing the construction loan, how are you structuring the payment for the house. So you want to consider that. Most of the time, people say this will be our forever home. Realize that most of the cases it's not. At some point you will sell that. So you want to make sure you're doing a smart investment and not building a home that's so unique that it doesn't have resale later. For instance, I don't know that it would be a good idea to build a 6,000 square foot 2-bedroom home. Just understand that you want to be careful about the amenities that you do in the house that make it unique and tougher to sell in the future, because you want your investment to return to you. Okay, those are the 6 things that I think you should think about. That's not all encompassing, but that's 6 pretty important things to think about. Tell me what you think down below. And if you have any questions about it, please reach out and call us. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. As always, please don't forget to like, tag, and share our videos, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel.